I'm just going to read through this for you. It's funny. This is an AI overview. It started happening when anything comes up on a Google search. Even if I misspelled it, I meant to say, why is the verb form be so crazy? And I guess I'm a little bit tired. It's later in the evening here, and anyway, evidently the computer understood me no matter what, which is another form of scary. As I said, the verb to be is often described as crazy or highly irregular because it has numerous forms in English: am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, that do not follow the typical patterns of verb conjugation. I am, he is, we are, you are, they are, he was, I was, you were, they were. Ah, Be, to be or not to be. Haha, I'm just going to leave it at that. Being, I am being silly because this happens when I get tired. And then been, it has been a long few days. And the serious part of me realizes it's been a really long few years. At any rate, we're going to make this a lesson about English and about why English is the way it is, which is crazy. The verb to be is irregular for these reasons. I'd love to know why. Suppletion. The forms of to be come from different verbs used in older versions of English. The forms be, being, and been come from one Old English verb, while am and is come from another, and was and were come from a third. These verbs with similar meanings merged over time, leading to the irregular verb we know today. That's interesting. It's like a family tree where you just have a lot of genetic input, so who knows what we're all going to look like. High frequency. To be is a frequently used verb in English. Common words are less likely to become regularized because people are used to their irregular forms. At least you have to get used to it. Historical development. The forms of to be reflect linguistic changes and mergers that occurred over thousands of years. These changes created a verb with a wide range of forms and uses. In summary, the irregularity of to be comes from its long history and its role as a core element of the English language. I don't know if I'm going to be able to click on a link and still keep filming this tab on my computer, but I am going to try just because there's an idiom in English called to go down the rabbit hole. Let me see. To go down the rabbit hole. I apologize. I will get used to this program at some point. To go down the rabbit hole is a reference, also called a literary allusion, to Alice in Wonderland. Okay, now we're going a little deeper. Alice in Wonderland is a book that, to be honest with you, gives me nightmares, but it has all kinds of strange creatures, the Queen of Hearts. And Alice falls through the looking glass, and one of the creatures there is a rabbit. And I believe he's the one who says, I'm late for a very important date. It's time to hurry, no time to wait. I'm late. I've never read this book because, again, just the mere idea of it gives me nightmares. But from Alice in Wonderland, we have a lot of references that are well known, even by those of us who have not read the book. One is to go down the rabbit hole, and that means to fall into a situation that is totally new and totally different. And that happens to me many times when I'm on the computer, because I will just follow lead after lead after lead after lead and read more and more and more and find out more and more. To go down the rabbit hole is also a literary allusion. Allusion I pronounce differently because a lot of people know the word illusion. And that an illusion is something that you think you see, but it's not really there. A literary allusion is when you make reference to something because you expect the listener or the reader to know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of a good example. One might be, it's time to bite the bullet. In this case, well, that's an idiom, but it's also alluding to or making reference to a time when people would have surgery and there was no way to put them to sleep unless they just passed out. And so they would bite down on something hard like a bullet in order to stand the pain. And so if you're going to bite the bullet, then you're going to feel the pain and just deal with it. So we have gone from irregular verbs down the rabbit hole of Alice in Wonderland, talking about a literary allusion as opposed to an illusion, which is something I think I spelled that wrong maybe, but it's something you see, but it's not really there. And then alluding to is another form of the word allusion. A literary allusion is a noun. Alluding to something is a form of verb. I'm going to allude to literature or music when I teach. So, at any rate, I'm going to click on this and we'll either go down the rabbit hole further or this will be the end of this recording. I think I have to change my cursor back to the cursor mode.